So in this video, I'm going to take Martin Brundle through the Brazilian Masterclass. Now, the Brazilian Masterclass that we're going to talk about is the 2019 Brazilian Grand Prix. This one, where Valtteri Bottas is broken down, turn 4. This is the turn where Max Verstappen usually takes a line that goes across there and off the other side of the track, off the top of the screen there. I see. I don't know if we can actually go. We probably can't see the area of the track that Max was. No, we can't. Max usually goes across there and all the way, like heading off about 2 miles off the top of your screen as you're looking at it. Let them race, they call that. That's called motor racing, as Jonathan Wheatley would like to inform you. But we're going to go and talk about the Brazilian Masterclass, and we're going to date that Brazilian Masterclass not back to Abu Dhabi straight away. We're going to have a look at this one, the 2012 Australian Grand Prix, where what's that? Lapped cars may now overtake. What's going on there then? What's going on there? Race control 2012 Australian Grand Prix. Lapped cars may. Oh. Are they going to let the lapped cars through? I don't think it's mandatory, but that's normally on a wet day in Belgium. We're going to learn all about this in the masterclass you're about to witness, Martin. Now, Martin, talk us through it, Martin. Let's have a listen. Talk us through what your worst fears are.
I feel quite good about that because it's hard trying to think about the strategies for all of them. We don't and how it'll play out. Not that I want to big myself up on that, but
big up Brundle.
I feel we've told the real story as we've gone along. I do think the worst case scenario.
Yep, absolutely agree with it. The worst case scenario
is if somebody's running 9th that ends up on the podium, and you haven't flagged it up.
Yeah. If somebody's running 9th and ends up on the podium and you haven't flagged it up. Now, I wouldn't say he was 9th, but let's have a look, shall we? Let's have a look at that, Martin. So, we're going to start by grounding everything in context. Now, we get some contributors to the channel. I'll keep going back to this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I don't know why. We get some contributors to the channel that don't understand the notion of evidence. So what I'm doing now is displaying to you something called evidence. Okay, meaning something actually took place, something actually happened, and this is the video evidence of it actually happening. That's called evidence, kids. Okay, I don't know where you went to school or who's telling you this disinformation that you come to the comment section with, but this constitutes evidence. So you've seen the picture. Okay, lapped cars may now overtake. Let's have a listen to the audio. So, those of you that have got F1 TV, you can select the 2012 Australian Grand Prix. You can find this evidence for yourself. You can go to 1 hour, 12 minutes, 24 seconds, and you can play this.
The Caterham of Petrov is being wheeled away, so we should...
Ted Kravitz in the pits. We know Ted.
Get underway again quite soon.
We should get underway quite soon during this safety car period. I'm having to play this out of view because they don't like me showing the footage. They'll block that on copyright, but it's still evidence.
We're going to just wait for a little bit as the lapped cars now can overtake.
Absolutely right, Crofty. Talk us through it now, Crofty. David Croft, Abu Dhabi 2021 commentator, narrator of the fix, telling us we're going to wait back in 2012 that they are now going to be releasing the lapped cars. Let's just go through this again.
And just in front of me, the Caterham of Petrov is being wheeled away, so we should get underway again quite soon.
We're going to just wait for a little bit as the lapped cars now can overtake Heikki Kovalainen, Timo Glock and Charles Pic, and it's a new for 2012 regulation, this one.
New for 2012 regulation, this one. You're a facts man, aren't you, Brundle? A facts man.
To basically stamp out some of the incidents we had last year when races would restart after a safety car period and there will be back markers, lapped cars in the way of...
This is how they sell it to you, but no, it's nothing to do with in the way. It's underpinned by the FIA International Sporting Code. These are salesmen trying to hype up the show when the reality is it has a sporting context grounded in sporting fairness. That's the truth. Crofty's still a liar. He's still telling you about the regulation new for 2012 though.
Cars that were genuinely trying to fight for position. So
okay, and even with this lie from Crofty back then, how does that account for the 2 lapped cars that were left between 2nd and 3rd place at Abu Dhabi? So that 3rd place was blocked off from challenging for a top 2 position in that final Grand Prix of the season. You can't do that.
So now we get the situation where the lap cars can get out of the way and we can get on racing once again. Webber, by the way, just work this one out.
And we can get on racing once again. So what lap are we on now? Let's just double check this and let's see how long do we wait. We're on lap 40 of 58. The cars are being released on lap 40. Let's be clear what we're seeing. 1:13:02. Let's play it through.
17 seconds at one stage. He was behind Sebastian Vettel. Now, of course, he's right there in the thick of it.
He is. It's worked well for Mark. And I'm hoping that they might restart this at the end of the lap and they won't wait.
Martin Brundle is hoping that they might restart this at the end of the lap. What are the regulations, Martin? You're a facts man, not a hype man. You're not a salesman, are you, Martin? You're not just lying to the kids, keeping people on the edge of their seat.
For those lap cars to get too far away. Let's hopefully see a safety car in this lap.
Well, you can see there, the cars are meant to stay on the...
So Martin is hopefully it'll end soon. What are the regulations, Martin? Crofty's just told you.
Racing line, those that are on the lead lap, so that the other cars can then unlap themselves.
Crofty knows the regulations. Let's listen to Crofty talking about the regulations.
Well, you can see there, the cars are meant to stay on the racing line, those that are on the lead lap, so that the other cars can then unlap themselves.
What do you know? Crofty knows the regulation.
But there's so much weaving going on there. You know, Heikki Kovalainen is almost having to pick a chicane to go through.
You see,
look, there's Lewis Hamilton weaving and Timo Glock on his birthday.
Disgraceful behaviour from Lewis Hamilton, isn't it? Let's pick out something that Lewis Hamilton is doing wrong, shall we, commentators? Thank you for that.
Trying to make his move and unlap himself.
I might be alone here, I think. I don't like this, Rue. I
don't like it. I don't care whether you like it, Martin. Okay, it's not about... This isn't Tinder, okay? It's not about swiping for what you like, okay? It's about regulations. They have a purpose, and that's what you've got to adhere to. I don't like it. It's irrelevant, Brundle.
Hamilton weaving and Timo Glock on his birthday trying to make his move and unlap himself.
Poor Timo Glock on his birthday.
I might be alone here, I think. I don't like this.
Martin doesn't like it. He's a facts man, but he's playing on his emotion. Are we talking fact or are we talking emotion? Like, desire.
Drew, I don't. So what? If there's the luck of the draw, if they have to get through some back markers on the restart, so what?
No, Martin, you're lying. And wait, it's not necessarily a lie. It's a complete lack of understanding, indicating that you are not fit for purpose. Just because the leader might have lapped a back marker, that we might call them, and they're not all back markers, because sometimes in some races, though the leader laps up to 6th, 7th, 8th position in a race, that doesn't determine them being a back marker. They're point scoring position in the World Championships. They are point scoring position. So at what point do you label someone a back marker? If somebody laps up to 4th place in that race, does that make 4th position a back marker? I would say not. So if the leader is so fast that they start lapping all of these cars, then those cars aren't eliminated for being lapped. Those cars are still in a race with the car that's ahead of them, that the leader hasn't lapped at that stage. And because the leader hasn't lapped the car in front, that car in front disappears off the way around the track and joins the safety car snake. making it now a lap ahead of the car that is held back behind the leader. And you cannot use a safety incident to cause that dynamic, cause someone to lose a lap on the car that they were previously able to challenge prior to the safety incident. So it's not about what you like, Martin Brundle, you liar.
The best drivers in the world, let's see them negotiating. I think we should get rid of blue flags. You'll hear me say that about once
I like. Shut up.
every 3 races.
No, that'll agree with
Passing
you.
back markers is a core skill of being a racing driver, as Mark Webber locked both his front tyres, which...
Passing back markers is a core skill of being a racing driver. Look at the way he tries to embellish and sell this. It's nothing to do with that. Absolutely nothing to do with that. We've intervened in a race due to having to deal with a safety incident. That's neutralised racing for everybody. That has skewed the outcomes for everybody. Before we go racing again, we have to reset this position to a scratch position. Simple as that. That's all it is. Let's see what lap we go racing on again. Remember, we were on lap 40 when the lapped cars were released.
won't do them any good at all.
I think the net result, Martin, has got to be good. When guys can actually go straight for an overtaking move and not have to worry about a back marker being in the way because the safety cars close them down. But is there a better way to do it than this?
I see it a different way. We should be racing now and let the back markers get out of the way.
Nothing to do with it. We should be racing now and let the back markers get out of the way. I've just explained to you the dynamics of the situation. People have been disadvantaged, whilst others have been advantaged. Others have been able to close the gap. They've been able to close up on the cars that were previously 10, 20, 30 seconds ahead of them. They've been able to benefit. You can't enable the situation to be reversed, whereby
Let him sort it out.
Somebody that has just been passed by the leader, who was only a few seconds behind the car that they were trying to challenge, is now left a lap behind that car that they were trying to challenge. This is the purpose of a regulation. Look at all the speculation going back on in 2012, lying to the audience even back then.
Well, it's interesting. I spoke to Charlie.
We've wasted a lap, look. We've now got another lap of safety car.
We've wasted a lap, have we? It's not wasting a lap, it's a requirement.
Well, I spoke to Charlie Whiting about this a couple of days ago.
Oh, so you speak to the FIA, the race director, to get your information.
And I said, do you think we're going to extend the safety car period by 3, 4, maybe 5 laps? And he said, no. About one more lap. That's all it'll take.
3, 4, 5 laps. See, look at them gaslighting. Look at them lying to the world rather than just simply explaining this is the situation. There was an obstacle on the track, creating a safety issue. We are required, as the sports governing body, in charge of the safe running of that event. It is mandatory that we intervene to ensure safety, so that those drivers are not endangered, and neither are the track marshals that have to recover that vehicle. Therefore, we have to intervene with an appropriate measure. We've chosen this notion of a safety car, where this car is deployed on track to slow all the drivers down, to create a safe working environment for that car to be removed. In doing so, what that does, it neutralises what had gone on in that race. That can skew outcomes in a different way. If there is no lapping taking place, all that it does is it bunches all of those cars up, wipes out all of the previously built up advantages, and you end up with a safety car snake of cars, which is the correct race order, and all of the advantages that were built up are now wiped out. Once the incident is cleared, you can then withdraw the safety car and off they all go from a scratch position. When the lead car has begun lapping vehicles, then you get this skewed situation whereby the cars that have been lapped now have to wait behind that leader, whilst the cars that they're trying to challenge that are ahead of the leader, but might only just be a second or two ahead of the leader, they get to disappear around the track and join the back of the safety car snake. That means that some cars now have lost a lap on people that they were previously able to challenge. No, that is why you have a regulation, and that is why you have to release those cars and give them the opportunity to make it around to catch the back of the pack, to ensure that we then have this condition, correct race order, first to the last remaining competitor in the correct race order with the previously built up advantages wiped out. Why can't the sports commentators tell you that? Because they're lying to hype up the show, talking verbal diarrhea to lie to children to hype people up. Oh, stay on the edge of your seats. Oh, we're going to get the safety car in when we're going to get going on the restart. Oh, and if I talk really fast and tell you a load of bullshit, then you're going to be really excited along the way. When really all you need to do is tell people the truth.
Get the back markers past.
It's turned out, I think, to be the case here, but nonetheless.
It's turned out to be the case. No. This is what it is.
I'd rather see a racing lap than a safety car lap.
I'd rather see see. Look at him. Oh, if you're a real motor racing fan, if you've got racing blood in your veins, and you want to see racing rather than a safety car, because you're conditioning retards, aren't you? That don't understand the principle of what needs to happen. Keep conditioning the retard. Oh, I'm a real motor racing fan.
Turn that motor up.
Sebastian, rehearse the restart in your mind.
And it's either famine or feast for him at a safety car restart, isn't it? Oh, and that's Heikki Kovalainen. Looks to me like he's out of the race in the Caterham.
He's looking trolleyed there.
That's the both Caterhams out of the race during this safety car period. So we have lost from the race Kovalainen and Petrov, Schumacher and Grosjean and Hulkenberg. And we have a top five featuring Jenson Button, Sebastian Vettel, Lewis Hamilton, Mark Webber and Fernando Alonso. Behind
this would be awful for Lewis on those heavily used hard compound tyres. But how long will they wait? Is it a wet day in Belgium? Who knows?
Alonso, watch out, Pastor Maldonado, Sergio Perez, Nico Rosberg might all fancy their chances, and then they're going to have to watch out for Kimi Raikkonen and Kamui Kobayashi. There's a lot of potential for a lot of chaos within that top 10.
Nico Rosberg 8th, Michael Schumacher out of the race.
A lot of potential for it within that top 10. Also, now we care about the top 10, not just the top 2.
It's going to be some very long faces, I'm really sad to say, and the boys at Brackley and the Mercedes-Benz team.
Do you think they've done their level best to ease off any threat of protest this weekend with both their qualifying performance and what's happened in the race? Safety cars coming in nonetheless at the end of this lap.
Safety cars coming in at the end of this lap. What lap are we talking about now? At the end of lap 41. Whoa, crazy, isn't it? Crazy. Have we wasted one, have we? Oh, you couldn't make it up. Who'd have thought it? Who'd have thought it? What do you think the safety car has done? Oh, do you think it's given the opportunity for those released cars to make it around the track? To catch up with the back of the safety car, Snake? Oh, yeah. Funny that. It's been happening like that for 10 years. By the time that they fixed Abu Dhabi and lied to us.
And the light's already off and we can go racing again. So it's imperative now that these guys have got the temperature in the tyres up to its working range.
Yeah, and as I said earlier, it shocks me how hard you have to work to make that happen, as Vettel very nearly runs in the back of Button, because there's no brake lights on Formula 1 cars. You don't know when the driver in front's hitting the brakes.
Yeah, so you've got no idea if they're brake testing you.
They're pretty used to these things stop so quickly that brake lights would be pretty useless, basically. But Button knows how to restart, but Vettel has been told, rehearse this in your mind, have it clearly in your mind what you want to do. Anytime soon, Jensen is just going to leg it.
So it's going to be a very short, very fast and very explosive 17 laps now towards the checkered flag, and Button's got the jump on them all, as you would expect, leading them down the line.
Okay, so that is what they knew in 2012. They tell you, they tell you the new for 2012 regulation of releasing the lapped cars. They observe the notion that the safety car remains out on track for at least a further lap after the release of those lapped cars. Now, actually, if we go back through this, This is them on lap 39 of 58 going over the start-finish line. Okay, you can see that. You can see that there's a lorry on the track there with the stricken car on its back. So that's on lap 39. And we'll just chunk this forward. Safety car. Okay, so we're on lap 40. Lapped cars may now overtake. Okay, lap 40. And we'll keep going on this, chunking it forward. So the safety car will return to the pits at the end of the following lap. If they're released on lap 40, the safety car stays out on track for lap 41, so that gives them the opportunity to catch the back of the pack during that lap 41, and it returns to the pits at the end of lap 41, yeah? Released on lap 40, lapped cars may now overtake, so the safety car stays out on track for the further lap. Okay, so we're expecting the safety car to come in at the end of the following lap. So I'm chunking this forward at 10 seconds a time. And you can just see that this is the images that are being displayed. So they're now on to lap 41. We've just seen that ticked over. So at the end of this lap, the safety car should be coming in. Oh, there he is. The genius, Adrian Newey. Didn't win a world championship with a car for 8 years during the Mercedes dominance. Came to ground effect, and it was genius again. Incredible, genius. So a safety car's coming in at the end of this lap, and there will be one racing lap. Let's have a look. Let's see what goes on. 41, is it coming in now? Lap 41. So yeah, it comes in, doesn't it? That's the way it works, isn't it? You couldn't make it up, could you? So we go racing again on lap 42.
Sebastian Vettel in second.
There you go. So they've done that extra lap. They observed that, didn't they? They observed that. Now, let's have a look at Brazil. The 2019 Brazilian Grand Prix. Now, here we go. This is the incident that ultimately will cause a safety car. This is the running order. Pierre Gasly is here in 6th position. He's a long way behind. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop this video here because I'm mindful that these go on for a long period of time and people won't watch an hour video. So I'm going to do that on the next video. This is going to be part 1. Part 2, we'll see what actually happens, and we'll see who's commentating on this to see what they know and see, this horrible situation of Brundle telling you it would be terrible if somebody was in 9th and got onto the podium and we didn't identify that. Yeah, it'd be terrible, wouldn't it, Brundle? It'd be terrible. Anyway, that'll do on this one. Thank you for your time.